If any of you come from a family where witchcraft has been practiced before, the witches want to kill the person that is the breadwinner, the person that is of utmost value to the family, the person that is of utmost significance in the family. As long as that person is alive, people will go to school, people will have food to eat, people will be able to make ends meet. He is in the center of the survival of that family. He has a value according to the shekels of the sanctuary. He's the one that witches will be interested in killing, because if you kill that one, are you there? Maybe 45 people will enter into suffering. The value they draw from the person's absence is the suffering that comes upon the 45 people. That is the energy that promotes that witch in the realm of witchcraft. Is the value that is coming from the soul of these people in their anguish on the account of the loss that has been experienced. Who is still here? Okay, so this is the first signal. The moment the boy left the heart of Abraham, it registered in the spirit. And then the angel spoke and said unto him out of heaven, Abraham, and he said, here am I. Next verse. And he said, lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do anything unto him, for now I know that thou fearest God, seeing that thou hast not withheld thy son, thy only son, from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in the thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah Jireh, as it is said to this day, in the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. Next verse. And the angel of the Lord called to Abraham out of heaven. This is what? The second time. You see, there are 2 times that the angel called. Now this second call is the speaking of the altar, the consequence of the sacrifice that has gone into the realm of the spirit. This second call, this is what we call the speaking of the altar. Let us see what the altar is speaking. And he said, by myself, this is a spirit being. Can you see? Have I what? What's that? An oath. You know, I told you that when you are hunting in the spirit, you hunt for a promise, you hunt for a covenant, you hunt for, by myself have I sworn, said the Lord, for because thou hast done this thing, thou hast not withheld thy son, thy only son. It's not the same thing he said the other time. It's the same thing. This is the speaking of the altar. Yes? Next verse. That in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thee, and thy seed as the stars of heaven, and so on. So the speakings of this altar spoke blessing. And it's very easy for you to read the writings of blessing. Is it not so? Oh, you don't want to answer me? Well, because you cannot answer me, I will not speak about speakings of altars again. This is a refresher. I just digressed to show you this matter before I can come back. I ask you, are you? Oh, yes. Okay, we have online people. So that's the speaking of the altar. So an altar can speak blessings. And we should be able to read. It is very easy to read the inscription of blessings. One of the inscription of blessings is check the thing that the person is doing. If he lays his hands upon something to do, does it prosper? That's one of the writings of blessing. Are you there? You tried to sell fish, and when you counted the money that you made, it was not up to the amount you used to buy the original fish. You are not following me. That is also, we should be, just like it is easy to read the handwriting of blessings, it's also easy to read the handwriting of reproach. And when the description of your existence is failure, reproach, hardship, what you are dealing with is not a lack of business ideas. What you are dealing with is not a lack of business strategies. What you are dealing, it's not a course you need to enlighten you. What you are battling with, the handwriting of reproach is littered over your life, and the meaning of that is that there is an active altar that is speaking. Because every altar speaks. And the thing about altars that I need to establish here quickly, are you there? If an angel causes a problem in scripture, if an angel causes a problem, it's an angel that will solve the problem. If God is responsible for a problem, it is God that will solve the problem. If the sons of God cause the problem, another generation of sons of God will manifest to solve that problem. That's the law of the Bible. How many of you still remember the ark of Noah? When Noah entered into the ark, do you know that God came from without the ark and locked the door of the ark so that Noah will not be moved with compassion to open for anybody? So it was God that locked the ark. It was beyond the authority of Noah to unlock. It was when God wanted that God now showed up and unlocked the ark. So the reason for which I say this is because if your problem is caused by an altar, the only solution will be by another altar. Now that first altar is speaking. You there?
Yes, sir.
We need to establish another altar that will speak. Not just speak, but speak better things. So your escape route from an altar is another altar. In fact, most people, okay, let me use the Bible to speak. Can we do Genesis, Judges? So have you seen what I mean by the speaking of an altar? You are not here. Let me make it plain for you to understand. Miscarriage, if there is a consistent story of miscarriages, we are dealing with an altar. If there is a case of unnatural poverty, not that the person is not hardworking, the person is hardworking, the person has initiative, the person is willing to work, but there is something beyond his efforts that is resisting him, we are dealing with an altar. That's a speaking. Are you there? If you put money into the person's hands and in the next 2 months the person cannot give account of what he did with that money, we are dealing with a speaking. So it doesn't matter how many opportunities this person gets to have, the opportunities will not translate to anything worthwhile because there is a spiritual thing that is speaking and it is swallowing the impact of his natural efforts. See, if you have an altar of blessing aligned with your life, are you there? If you have an altar of blessing aligned with your life, the altar of blessing will not exempt you from hard work. But in that your hard work, there will be results beyond your effort that will that will arise from your hard work. If an altar of reproach is angulated against your life, it will not exempt you from hard work, but your hard work and your efforts will be swallowed up, and you will not see the impact of your input. In any of the cases, there's still hard work. If you see someone that is lazy and the person is poor, that is supposed to be poor. He's supposed to be poor because the Bible says, I went by the field of a slothful man. I went by the field of a man that lacked understanding, and the stone wall was broken down. It was overcovered with weeds. Then said I, yet a little sleep, yet a little slumber, yet a little folding of the hands to sleep, so shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man. There's no book like the Bible. He said, thy want will come like an arm. As if an armed man is attacking you. That's the reason why. But his poverty is because of slothfulness. I'm not talking of slothful people, I'm talking of hard-working people. But their hard work does not translate to anything worthwhile, because there is something swallowing the outcome of their efforts, and their efforts amount to nothing. Are you there? We're talking about speakings. Oh my, you are not with me. Oh, when they are speakings and an altar of death is speaking, one of the things you are going to notice is that there is going to be an age bracket that people cannot survive beyond. If you notice that science in your bloodline, are you there? There is an altar.
Most of the times, the matters concerning altars requires a value, requires a spiritual worth, and if a man has a value, if a man has a spiritual worth, we can see that he has a great destiny, he has a great call. Forces will almost be, it will be against the person. Just like Jesus was giving birth to, right from the first day he was giving birth to on earth, there were forces that started running against his birth. They want him to be killed. So the same thing as it was being said here, breadwinners of families, they are being after, because they have a high tendency in the realm of the spirit. But if they can be manipulated, they can be a big loss, and it will give them, in the dark world, it will give them a high price. So this is what I'm trying to explain from this video, because I need to make us understand the personal application of this message to us. Do you get it? Most of the sinners out there, maybe just like, let me say, Paul the Apostle. When Paul the Apostle was a Saul, he was a very worthwhile persecutor, a terrorist of the Christian. But when he became born again, he was a very worthwhile apostle of God. Now, what am I trying to say in essence? Do you have people around you, that for example, these musicians, maybe worldly musicians, many of them, they are like still in sin, like still in the past, where the devil has hijacked their future, because the devil knows that they have a good glory in the area of music, in the area of singing. So if they are not properly trained, properly tutored in the way of God, the devil can hijack them and then use it in the negative way. So just like a breadwinner, if a breadwinner is not spiritual, he can be hijacked by the enemy, and it can be a disadvantage, a very great disadvantage in that realm. You will get what I'm trying to say. So what I'm trying to conclude in this regard is that when a man's life tends to be good in a particular area, whether in finances, whether in wealth, whether in talent, whether in academics, as parents, as you as a Christian personally, you should take diligence to watch which spirit is controlling the person. Like, no, maybe you have a friend, a relative, and you notice that it's like he has a good intention in this area, he has a good glory in this area. Please, let's make sure we nurture the person in the way of God, so that the witches and demonic powers will not hijack the person. Yes, thank you very much for watching. The Lord bless you. This is Firefest channel.